Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach. Hope you guys are doing well out there. It's team update time, and things are just getting a bit real. All of a sudden, it's like gone are the days where, yeah, he'll probably play, or yeah, I'm pretty optimistic on him. We're getting real answers with these practice games. We're getting actual feedback, and all of a sudden, it's like, that's not the role I wanted, or gee, maybe that guy's not that rookie that I thought would definitely play. So I'm going to go through my team line by line. I reckon over the last 3, 4, 5 days, I haven't felt good about my team. I don't know if you ever have that where you're just lying in bed and you're just unsettled about your team. I mean, it shouldn't keep us up at night, but sometimes I'm thinking about it. And sometimes you close the app and you're just like, yeah, if that started tomorrow, I'd be happy. I'd be happy for the season to start. I feel good about my team. Last 4 or 5 days, I hadn't. I just feel like I've got it together now. And there is 1 or 2 controversial calls. As I often say, I'm trying to go slightly different. I feel as if I've been there and done that with trying to do the normal structures and a bit more guns and rookies and haven't cracked the top 1 or 2K for some time. So I feel like we've got to do something a little bit different. Nonetheless, let's take a look at my side. Happy to hear your feedback. League codes coming out. Tipping comp link is also there. Don't know if it'll be in this description, but certainly you'll find it on my channel in a recent league code reveal video. Here's the back line. And Sheasel, quite simply a lock. If you've been keeping up with a few of these updates, Holmes has been in my side some time. And the first thing that jumps out at you is there is a lot of buy action in what would be... Geez, it is one of those early buys, isn't it? In fact, I've already got the AFL app up, or the AFL website. So I have dropped Holmes, Houston, you'll see, which I just wanted him to convince me just a little bit more. So Collingwood, Geelong and Sydney, that'd be 5 players missing there. So I don't know, Riley Bice is the one that probably doesn't have to be locked in. But look, I'll touch on them individually and then talk about it as a full. So Holmes and Sheasel have been locked in for some time. Sheasel dominated today. Holmes was a bit quiet in the most recent pracky, but I've got no doubts that he'll be Geelong's number 1 mid this year, locking and loading him. Now, Perryman came in recently off the back of his bulk centre bounce attendance game the other day. So I probably didn't expect that, but 20 touches, 10 tackles, huge amount of centre bounce attendance, and also and when you listen to the coaching staff at Collingwood, they were like, yeah, we treated that like a full dress rehearsal. And I was like, right. And on the other hand, Houston didn't exactly shine, and maybe Josh Dacos took a bit more of the footy off him than maybe I anticipated, and he didn't take that many kick-ins. So I thought, look, originally I was like, with the bye, I'll take him out, but it ended up being, very similar. So I felt like we had to bat a little bit deeper in the back line because we lost Mills, and I just felt like with these rookies that we're really struggling with, and even Bo Allen was really quiet today, had to take him out. I just felt like, wow, you've really got to bat to 4. And even some of the premiums I'm not absolutely in love with. I would have liked Nasaya Wanganeen Miller was one that I liked, but in the end I sort of thought, well, maybe price-wise I've probably got to go 2 mid-prices. And Perryman, he has averaged 90 before, and I just think I like that role. I mean, I'm not absolutely sold on it. I'm not going to say he's a lock or anything like that, but he did look very good. And I think Collingwood's midfield probably needs someone like him. I think they do need to bolster it up in there. So hopefully, plenty of opportunity for him. And then Roberts, after this, I'm going to watch a couple of quarters of the game, most recent practice game. But he had plenty of the footy. And I think, without Mills, Lloyd is playing up on a wing. I just think he's going to continue on that form of his last, 8 weeks of last year where he's just fantastic. One of those weird players last year where he was actually a cash cow to start. And by the end of the year, we're like, is this guy a premium? Very strange stuff. So he's a beautiful user of it. And he just kicks nicely, very efficient kick, and does find a lot of space and is involved in that link-up play and chipping around play. Not exactly like All-Australian or damaging type of player, but I think for fantasy he's going to be quite handy. So I'll put him in. And then we've got Reid, who I actually thought looked really good against the Cats. Looks like he's got a key post in defence. And Leake put his best foot forward in the practice game as well. Really cracks in. I think he's a very good chance to play round 1. Now, of course, the bye situation with this, yes, it's not perfect. A debate that I often have is sometimes people are like, whoa, he's got the bye. Don't pick him. But I'm like, where do we draw the line? Like, do we just put a line through a really good pick because he has a bye? I don't think so. I think if a guy's a good pick, all right, so he's got one extra bye. What if he's a better pick than that other bloke you're picking every other week? Like, if you're picking, obviously you might feel like there's 2 good players and you pick the one without the bye. Yeah, that makes sense. But I feel like sometimes we're too influenced by the byes and we rule guys out. It's like, hang on, he's going to be a good pick for 22 weeks of the year. Don't disregard him because of one bye. Let's not forget, we've got 23 players contributing to our score and we only need the best 18. So I think this is the way I like it. I feel like your alternative might be, start Jaden Short instead of Roberts. Like, no, I think Roberts is a much better pick. So I'm prepared to wear that bye. So, look, round 3 or whatever it is might be a tough week for me, but, overall I think I'll be going all right with these selections. Would love to hear your thoughts. Joel Frazier, another one I slightly considered. But yeah, moving on to the midfield. Now, this is where I've gone maybe slightly different with a bit more of a mid-price approach. And I think my approach hasn't changed, but a lot of people would have had Bontempelli and Butters. So I think a lot of people might be going to a Sarong. I feel like Rosie's ownership will increase off the back of a dominant practice game today or over the weekend, whenever it was. But funnily enough, maybe my mid-price approach doesn't look as unique now. I'm not sure. I haven't seen a lot of other sides, but I didn't have to juggle my team around Bont or Butters because I didn't have them, where a lot of people would be scrambling and changing. So I did have Tom Green a few weeks back. There was a portion where I was going real mid-price and even had Finn Callahan in there and Adam Chera at times. But then watching Nick Dacos, I was just like, wow. Langer's messaged me as like, bro, stuff the foot, man. You've got to have him. He's winning the Brownlow. I'm like, oh, God. And I know people say it's only against a Richmond bunch of teenagers, but the guy is just looking insane. My only query on him was the foot, and it looks to be bloody fine. So, got to have him. I'm all aboard. Luke Davies-Uniacke, he's currently in 7% of sides, and God, I hope it stays that way. Or maybe I should just say that he's a shit pick. Why am I giving it away? I don't know. But I think this guy is just... He's got one of the best sidesteps in the game. He just looks as strong as I've seen him, breaking tackles and exploding away from packs. I feel like he's barely got out of second or third gear in the preseason. He's ready to go. So I'm all about him. And Will Day, some people were maybe concerned about that last practice game. Not for me. There's some players that I need to show me a bit in a practice game. Will Day's not one. I watched him up close against the Cats and he's insane. Like, I think at that price, all aboard, mate. I think he is going big. I think he'll average 110. An explosive type of mid. Before his injury-affected end of last year, was averaging over 100 anyway, and that was with an interrupted preseason. So he's got a full preseason. I think he's absolutely ready to explode and have a really big year. We've had Oliver locked in for a long time. I think most people do. Will Ashcroft, again, I was left in that strange position of barracking against him in a practice game because I don't want everyone to be on board. And he was solid without being amazing. I'm a believer. I don't need to be convinced. Like I said before, if I'm watching a Roberts or a Perryman, I'm like, yeah, show me something. Show me something. Ashcroft, Day, don't worry, boys. You've got my trust. I believe. I'm on board. No stress. So, happy to lock in Will Ashcroft. I think he's going to take it next level, 105 plus. Hugo Garcia, actually didn't see what he did today. I'll have a look at that now. I was sort of focusing on some other games. But, yeah, he just looks like he's really in line for that midfield time. Where are these bloody practice games? Let's have a look and see what he did. Probably the centre bounce attendance is really the stat we're going to be looking for here. I don't know if the desktop style one has it. Not the best performance by the Saints, but where was he? Don't mind Hasty as a rookie. Garcia, 18 touches, 64% time on ground, 2 clearances, a few tackles. Yeah, might have to look more into that. I'm pretty confident on him. I don't think we've got CBAs, do we? Maybe not. I'll just grab my phone. I've got it on my phone. I don't know why it's not on this one, but yeah, I really like him as a prospect, and he's pretty much locked, but would like to see a few CBAs here. Let's have a bit of a live look. CBA. Let's see where he was. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, so he had 18. So McRae had 20, Steele 20, and then Garcia was the next best mid quite comfortably for the Saints. That interests me. Right. Cool. That solves that. We'll take that. And then just rounding it out with the rookies. Sardis lock, Langford lock, Sheldrick lock, particularly with Mills and Goulden going down. Kako lock. Hewitt didn't play today, so maybe we'll wait and see what's going on there. But I think plenty of opportunity in the midfield for the West Coast. So that's how my midfield is looking. Rucks. Now here's where things get a little funky. De Koning looked fantastic. If Pitneck can just stay in his lane, please, Mark, just bugger off in the kindest of ways, mate. We need it to be TDK time. It's time, mate. He's mobile. He's ready to explode. Max Gawn thinks he's going to be the best player of the generation. Big call. So I think clearly the missing piece here is Cherry, and I'm not going to lie. Look, I won't spend too much time on De Koning because I think it speaks for itself. This morning, this was TDK and Tristan Cherry. And then Cherry's come out and played a ripper game, and all of a sudden I've changed it. Doesn't make sense. But Matt Flynn is the one I was watching closely yesterday by the time I post it. And this was with the guise of, I need to bolster my back line. I need to find a way to get Roberts in because I thought he made himself a real must-have, or at least a strong consider. And I just wanted to see what Flynn could do because he was named number 1 ruck. Wanted to confirm the role first. Starts in the first bounce. Gets smashed in the first quarter. Giving away free kicks. Looks like crap. But he actually built into the game nicely. Now, he lost his ruck battle today, and he still scored about 90-something SuperCoach and battled really hard. But the role was there. 16 centre bounce attendances, and the second ruck was Archie Reid, not even Bailey Williams, who we were concerned about there. Williams really played forward, and I thought Flynn actually competed well. He tackles hard, took a nice mark, kicked a goal. And the main thing for me was he didn't come off with back soreness. There was no managing of his time, and he played all 4 quarters as the main guy. And against Tristan Cherry, number 1 ruck in the comp, he actually battled hard. He found it really difficult to get to the front of the contest most of the time, which limited his hit-outs and gave away a few frees because of it. But I think he'll be a solid option. Like, it's risky. Clearly it's risky, but I suppose for me at the end of the day, it was, do I go... ultimately it was another rookie. Do I go Cherry and Bo Allen or Ben Patton or whoever you want to pick as a rookie down the back line, or do I go Flynn and Roberts? Look, I really believe we can get 80 out of Flynn more often than not. If he can just play 5 or 6 weeks, clearly it's a risky option. Don't get me wrong, but for my overall team and how it looks and how it feels, he did enough today to convince me. So that's the way I'm looking at. I think Boyd picks himself, whether he's a floating donut at times, but I think he should stay there. Open for feedback on the rucks, no doubt about it. The forwards and the flex, we'll chuck the flex in there. Levi Ashcroft made himself a must. I was initially concerned about a bit of a sub risk, either being subbed off or, starting as a sub, but man, he just looked way too good the other night. Had to bring him in. Horn Francis, lock, even more so without Butters, you would imagine, takes even more responsibility in the midfield. Rankin, this is the one. Now, he was in 19% of sides last time I checked, and if this is still the case, it'll be absurd. 22, so he's sort of growing, but, I mean, honestly, I just hope it stays exactly the same, to be frank, because I just want him to be my guy. Looks like he's playing full-time mid, and he looks all class. I just think he's in for that year where it all just comes together. He had a hot patch last year, got ruined by injury. I just think he's ready to go. Just ready to have an awesome season, and I just had to pick him. I felt at times that he was the obvious downgrade to spare up cash, but I just thought if he is dominating by round 6 and he's not in my team, I'm going to be like, oh, mate, I was saying it all pre-season and you didn't pick him. There's nothing more frustrating than seeing a guy dominate that you feel like's your guy and you didn't pick him in the end. So that's why I just feel like I have to back him in. McRae, Smith, Sanders, Daniel all pick themselves. Sanders even more so with Bonk going down. Thought Stone looked all right, bit of dash off halfback, and Davidson was insane. He looked fantastic, didn't he? So that is my team. We'll really just zone it out there so you can have a bit of an overall look at it. But yeah, that is how we're looking. I feel, like I said off the top, I feel pretty good about my side at the moment. I mean, it's hopefully a little bit different. It's hard to be too different at this stage of the year. Like I said, I thought about Hasty or Boxall, I think it is, for the Saints as a rookie down here, but maybe they could be a replacement for Hewitt if he doesn't come up. But yeah, there's probably the main concerns around the buys for that back line, but I feel more confident with it being stronger and not having to expose as many of these rookies that I feel won't score as well. And then, yeah, I think we're batting deep in the midfield. I think there's a plethora of really good mid-price forwards, and I wanted to snatch them all up. That's why I have Garcia in the middle. And yeah, definitely risk in the ruck. But I feel like somewhere you've got to take a risk, don't you? Whether it's exposing an extra rookie or having a mid-pricer here. I feel like somewhere there's got to be a risk for you to get the majority of what you want. And that, in the end, is the risk I've taken. Could end up having egg on my face because the exit strategy of a mid-price ruck that fails is brutal. There's not as many options, and it could be a disaster. But at this point, albeit there's a long time until we have to really lock and key this one, for now, that is how we're looking. So would appreciate your thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking. Cheers.